All right. Hey, Neighborhood Sun community. This is Emily Tokarowski here, and I think I'm live. So, this is one of our first Facebook Live tutorials that we are working on and trying here today. So, um, let's see what happens, I suppose. I'm the Director of Marketing and Operations here at Neighborhood Sun, and I'm going to be running through a few different video communication platforms that at some point or another Neighborhood Sun employees or our company has used. So we have at least enough experience in them to try and help our community members better learn how to use these, especially in the times that we're facing right now where everything is moving digitally and virtually, and this is how we're interacting with people. And we want to be sure we're continuing our community involvement with one another, checking in, making sure family members and friends are doing okay. So hopefully this tutorial on some of the major video communication platforms out there will help you stay connected with friends and family during this time. And of course for your business work so you can continue being successful. So let's dive into it. And also I've got my comment section up here, so there is a little bit of a slight delay with the platform I'm using, but if you comment here on the screen, I see Armando, it populates, and then I can always show people what the comment is so that we can talk about it together and I can answer any questions you guys have during this time. So feel free to add comments and I'll get to them as we go through this. So hope this works. All right, let me start sharing my screen here so you guys can see. Alrighty, so I created a small little PowerPoint here just to go through the major communication platforms. We're going to first start off here with Zoom, and you can see right here, and then we are going to talk about GoToMeeting, TeamViewer, Google Hangouts, and Skype. So I also created a couple slides. I wanted to keep these open here so you can see where we're going throughout this presentation. But let's first talk about Zoom. So this is the one Neighborhood Sun uses most, I'd say. We use it all the time. Most of our sales reps and folks in the office have to be remote in a lot of cases. We're servicing all of Maryland at this time, so we have to do a lot of virtual meetings anyway. So Zoom was our go-to for that. Some of the pros of Zoom, you don't need to have an application, or you don't have to download the application to actually use it or join a meeting. It's a little tricky to find, but I'll try and show you how you can get there in just a moment and just use it in your browser. But it really does help. You can see down here to have the Zoom downloaded so you can really use all of its features available to you and work best with your team or friends. The free plan also allows 100 participants, but it does cap the meetings at 45 minutes if there are 3 or more participants. So for a lot of folks, this works really well. You don't have to use much more than the free plan offers, but sometimes if you need to have a meeting longer than 45 minutes and say you have the whole Neighborhood Sun company on, you might want to have a paid version. So let's see, we've got tons of features with Zoom. You can whiteboard things, you can do a remote takeover of somebody's screen if you need to show them something. You can also record meetings, and there's so much more with Zoom. All right, the one downside I wanted to note here is if you're looking to have multiple hosts, in other words, multiple meetings happening, you do have to have a monthly payment plan, and there is, with that case, a minimum number of 10 hosts. So it can add up really quickly, unfortunately. But in most cases, with the minimum paid plan, you can have a couple hosts, and it won't add up too much, but that's one of the things to consider here. So I noted it's a great all-around communication software, works well for businesses or for family communications. I actually use it with my parents when I'm chatting with them. And the free version, like I said, has most of the features needed for a small family team needs. So I'm going to go through my Google Incognito window here to just show you how you can get Zoom, get involved with it, create a meeting. I might actually try and get one of my colleagues on here so we can see exactly how Zoom works with somebody else on the line. So you can just go to Zoom, and it's .us. They have it all across the globe, so there's a bunch of different versions out there. But once you get to Zoom, this here is where you can either sign in or sign up. So if you want to sign up and get started, you can go right here, and it's, like I said, it starts you with the free platform, so you can type in your email address and whatnot, like for example my neighborhood Sun one, get all signed up. But for this case, I'm going to sign in and show you how it works currently in my Neighborhood Sun account here. So once I do that, I'll sign in, and you can see exactly the stuff that I'm doing. So this is just my general platform or dashboard, I should say here, that comes with the free account. So my Emily at Neighborhood Sun account is free. Our Neighborhood Sun one is a paid account. But in this case here, you can see I've got the capacity for 100 participants, my time zone, other features here. And if I wanted to, I could actually jump right into a meeting right now. I could host a meeting and start it right now and get something going. You'll see it'll prompt to open it. So right here is the feature where it's a little tricky, but since I do already have the application installed, you can see if nothing prompts, you can click. There's a little feature that usually pops up right down here to run it in your browser. So that's why I noted it's a little kind of tricky to get there, but you can still do it without installing the application. Just having it installed on your computer, it works with Mac, Windows, Linux, a lot of the major ones out there, and then you can use Zoom for that. So I'll go into Open Zoom right now. It'll show, and I'll just start a meeting. So here you can see I'll join with my computer audio. I'm actually going to probably exit this meeting and try and join the one that my colleague is on, so we can see exactly and walk through that right now. But that's one of the things, you can just kind of jump into a meeting right now and start inviting participants for it. So let's see, this one right here, I scheduled this meeting a little earlier today. You can either schedule and use a lot of the Zoom features right here in your sort of application dashboard, or like I did earlier, you can do it in your Zoom web application feature right here. So this is where I could also schedule a meeting, and I'll quickly just run through that so you can see this is what our team does as an example and when we schedule a lot of our meetings right now. So I would give the meeting a name. I could give a description. I would set the time. For example, I'd set it for Friday maybe at 4 p.m. And there's a lot of different features you can do with Zoom down here when you're scheduling a meeting, especially for business purposes. A lot of the things we don't do, for some added security, you can have a meeting password to make sure only folks that have this password can join in on the Zoom meeting. Oftentimes we know who we're sharing the link with, so I don't always require that meeting password, but it does have that nice feature to add that level of security. In addition, you can have whether their host or participant videos will be on or off when they start. Same with the audio, whether they're going to be coming in through telephone or computer. And then this here, with these additional features, you can allow the participants to join before the host, which we often do because we're all kind of jumping in sometimes at different times. You can also mute them upon entry too, to make sure that there's not a lot of background noise when they get on or for some other reason like that. So those are some of the two largest features I think that we utilize with Zoom and that work really well for us. In addition, you can record the meeting here automatically on the local computer, which is another really nice feature. But I'll show once we get into the Zoom that I scheduled with my colleague Zach, that you can record it once you're in the Zoom meeting as well. So let's see here. If I go up here, just looking at it in the dashboard here, again, you can use it in your little thing here, but this just kind of helps sometimes to use it on the desktop. If I go to My Meetings, just by clicking on it, this general blue button, I can see the ones that I have scheduled for today. So here's the one that I've got scheduled, and I'll go ahead and join that meeting. It's going to, again, prompt me to open my Zoom application, and it will, and it kind of just does it for me automatically. I'm going to join with computer audio so people can see, and I can already see it looks like Zach is in the meeting. And there we go. There's Zach. He's hard at work. He's got his laptop open, so he's doing other stuff while I'm doing this, but I'm glad to see that he's able to help me here today. So looking at my Zoom profile right now, you can see that Zach is going to be my main image featured right now. One of the other great features that we utilize here at Neighborhood Sun is what's known as our gallery view up here in the right-hand corner. So this way we can kind of see everybody all at the same time and make sure we're all looking at everyone, and it's just a good way to see everybody. So another thing too, as the host, I could always mute Zach if there's for any reason background noise or other things happening. I can unmute him. But in another thing, I can also pin videos. So this is really helpful, for example, if you're watching somebody giving a presentation and you want to make sure that you see everybody else's screen, but you're just only going to see their screen. Because one of the things with Zoom is it's going to default to whoever is speaking to show that that you see here, that speaker view. It's going to default to whoever is speaking whenever you're in this to show as the primary video. So if I went back to this, for example, and then pinned my video, I would be the only one showing in this video whether I'm speaking or not. So that's just kind of helpful, for example, for anybody doing a presentation. Down here are a couple features also where the main ones to either mute yourself or to stop the video if I needed to turn my video off. We can also invite other participants. I can see exactly who's in the meeting, And one of the great features with Zoom is also the ability to share my screen. So it can be a little much, but you can see exactly what I can share here. This is where the whiteboard feature is, where you can share things from your iPad or iPhone. So it's really great. You can even do other things like files as well. So there's a lot of awesome features with Zoom. I won't need to share my screen right now, but this is also where you can take over somebody else's controller. So if, for example, Zach were to share his screen with me, in this case, that's when I would be able to ask for remote access. So it's a minor feature kind of with Zoom, but it's a nice one to be able to use. And I'll get into another application that really does focus on the remote access thing. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. Again, like I mentioned, here's where you can record the button or record the video as you're doing it. And then there's also the chat feature, which is really nice. So if you need to share a link or a document or message someone, you have the option to just message everyone in the group or an individual. Say, for example, your dog's barking a lot. Maybe you should mute yourself or something. You could send just somebody like that a message. So those are all really great features of Zoom. And I appreciate you, Zach. I'm going to hop off the meeting now, but thanks so much for being on. I'll probably be bringing them in for a bunch of other ones as I go through this. So, alrighty. And again, if anybody has questions, feel free to let me know as we're going along. I'll just end the meeting for all. Since I'm the host, I'm allowed to end it for everybody, to just kick everybody out, or I myself can just leave the meeting. So I'll just go ahead and leave right now. Yeah, so that is Zoom, really great for business purposes, as mentioned, and all of those features. So if you have questions or comments as I'm giving this live demonstration, feel free to add them in. And yeah, we can keep going from there. So back to the PowerPoint presentation. We're going to move on to GoToMeeting really quickly. So GoToMeeting is another one very similar to Zoom. It has, I would say, maybe not as many features as Zoom, but it's still a really great meeting communication platform, especially for businesses. So some of the good features with GoToMeeting is it has this call me option, which is really great for participants that are frequently trying to connect via phone. So you can just automatically have the GoToMeeting invite call you at the start of the meeting and call your phone, which is a really nice feature, especially if you're going to be on the road, maybe when you have to join that meeting. In addition, it has unlimited cloud storage with the paid plan, which is really nice. Zoom does have that limited storage, but if you know you're going to be recording a lot of recording a lot of meetings, or having to store a lot of transcripts or files from those, this might be the one for you. Again, it might not have as many screen sharing features as Zoom, but maybe not everybody needs all those bells and whistles with Zoom. So something to keep in mind. It is a little less sleek. I think they are coming out with a lot more upgrades on it to try and improve that feature, but it is, I guess, maybe in my experience, a little less user-friendly in comparison to Zoom. So I'd say it's good for businesses who maybe want to have more hosts, but less than 10. So like I mentioned with Zoom, that was one of the things. Carolyn did give me a good comment. I'll try and slow down a lot of these pieces here just to make sure we're all understanding. Now, the one thing also with GoToMeeting, using the free version can be a little tricky to find. So I added the link in here, and I'd be happy to share this whole presentation. I'll attach it at the end of this so everybody can utilize this presentation here. So this is where you would go to be able to access the GoToMeeting free version. So if you're just starting out with GoToMeeting and you don't have an account yet, you can see I do already have the account down here just because I have my little GoToMeeting dashboard button. So I do already have it installed, but to show you how to sign up, I just copied that link here because it does indicate that this is the free version, and I'll go to that and it will show me how to sign up from there. Alrighty. So this is exactly how you'll sign up for the free version of GoToMeeting. The one thing I did notice, if you were to just go into GoToMeeting at the beginning, it is going to try and get you to sign up for the more business one and kind of start you with the free trial. You'll see here it starts your trial. So using this is really good. Again, the free version has just about everything you would need. So you would sign up here just like this. You'd put in all of your information, etc., and a password. And one of the things it's just going to ask you is for your company size, just to get a sense there. Since I have already done this, I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Once it does load. All right, so I signed in this case with my Gmail account, and I will hit next. At least I think I did. All right, so once I'm signed in here, it'll show me very similar to the whole Zoom dashboard. Like I said, this is a very similar feature. I'm just kind of moving my little image around here so I can see the screen. And this is where I can schedule a meeting. As you see, I've kind of tried to schedule another video demo meeting here, but let's see, where am I looking to go? So if I'm in my meetings, I can create a meeting. The one thing I've noticed with GoToMeeting, it's a little more difficult to just start a meeting right now. But in most cases, we are looking to schedule the meetings anyways. So let's see. I'll do like a one-time meeting, for example. I'll set it for, let's say, Tuesday the 7th, let's say 1 p.m. I can set it for a little bit longer time, which is nice with the free version for GoToMeeting. If you are having more participants, you don't have to worry about the cap, I believe, for 45 minutes. And then I can also edit some of the other features, very similar to Zoom, sort of what I was able to do if I go back here, back to my Zoom platform, how I was able to, when I was booking a meeting or scheduling a meeting, I could do different features such as managing the host's video and stuff like that. So GoToMeeting has similar features like that. Where is it? I believe it's under the more here. So where I require the meeting password, doesn't have as many of the Zoom features when you're trying to get it started. But once you're in the Zoom platform and running the meeting, you'll be able to kind of have the similar sort of pieces here. So let's just save that one, and it'll show up in my meetings for later. And then I can copy all of the invite details and start inviting folks if I need to. So in this case, this is where I would take this URL and I would send it to whoever I'd like for them to know that I have a meeting set for Tuesday, April 7th to join at 1 p.m. And all they would have to do is just click on the link. So, for example, if I were to do this, I haven't started the meeting yet, so I'm going to try and do this really kind of as a participant as myself. But just to show you as how the participant would do this, they would just paste the meeting into their URL. The one thing with GoToMeeting is it's not as easy to use it in your browser. It is much better if you have the actual application downloaded, and it does prompt you right here to download the app if you don't already have it. So that's just one of the things to note. And luckily, the Google is prompting me here because I do already have the GoToOpener or the GoToMeeting app installed. So it'll just tell me to go to it. It's going to launch it. And this little guy will open up and it's verifying it. And then now I'm in the meeting. So once I'm here, what's really nice also about GoToMeeting, it gives me a preview too, so I can test my mic. Right now you can see I'm muted, but then I can say, all right, I'm ready, and go ahead and join the meeting. So this is what I would do as a participant. In this case, you can see I'm muted, but my camera's on. Similar, I can turn it off. I can also share my screen, just as I would as a participant here as well. One of the things Zoom will tell you, if it hears you talking, it will say, hey, you're muted, which is kind of a nice feature because oftentimes we'll mute ourselves and then forget we're muted. So these are really the main features of GoToMeeting, as you can see. So a little bit more tricky to kind of navigate it in my sense. It's not all in one dashboard down here, but up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see here's where I would be able to go and record the meeting if I needed to. Up here, I could view who's talking. This is where I could see the whole participants involved, where similar to gallery view with Zoom, this is where that kind of feature is. It's the same little sort of grid layout. This would just be whoever is active with their cameras, and then this would be just hide everyone and just pay attention to either the screen or whatever else is going on. And then this would just show primarily who's talking. I could see who the participants are here, and then I could also have the chat feature, very similar to Zoom. However, you can only really chat the organizers or everyone or whoever I think else is in the meeting, and I'm hosting the meeting and participating, so it's a little weird to be doing that, but same sort of stuff. So let me just leave this meeting and just show what it's like to actually start one of the meetings. So I did schedule one back in my dashboard here. I scheduled it for today. The video demo one, you can see the one that I just joined, which was the April 7th one. But if I were to do this, all I would have to do is just start the meeting. So if I wanted anybody else to join, I would be able to take this link and send it to anybody or anyone who's watching. They're welcome to type that link in and start the meeting with me. But I'll go ahead and start this just so you can see how the exact same features of it work as somebody hosting the video. Once it launches, it'll be all the same features. I think just as the host, I'll have a lot more ability in terms of actually muting a participant or someone else if they were to join. So similar to Zoom, I'd be able to do that. But that's GoToMeeting. So if anybody has questions about GoToMeeting, you can always let me know about it. It's another great platform. So yeah, I could go ahead and leave this meeting. And I'll close this out and we can keep moving on to the next one. Alrighty. Now TeamViewer, this is one let's see, did I say, yes. Carolyn asked, just wanted to note here, did I say GoToMeeting is free? Yes, GoToMeeting is free, but like I said, there's a really sort of tricky way to get to the free version of GoToMeeting. You have to go to this link here to be able to access it. So that's just one of the things about it. They are encouraging people to use their paid version, which makes sense. It's a very, time for using those kinds of features right now. So that's the GoToMeeting free link. And apologies because some of these comments are a little delayed, I know. So I'm sorry that I might be getting into it a little later than when I when it was originally posted. But going back to the presentation here, I wanted to chat about TeamViewer quickly. Now, this one is one for taking over remote control. This is one that actually my colleague Carolyn showed me, and it's been a really great help. The real features of TeamViewer is that ability to remote control somebody else's computer or screen. You can even do it for iPads and iPhones and Android phones, which is really neat. It works across all platforms. You can be a Mac user or a Windows user, whoever. You can take over anybody's computer as needed there. It does access mobile devices, like I said, but it's an additional $30 a month add-on. So it's something as if your business really does need to use that feature, could be very practical, especially maybe if you're trying to troubleshoot for someone who is using a current application on their phone, for example. It can also get pricey for businesses if you're looking to operate multiple computers in one session. So again, if you're maybe like a tech developer looking to run diagnostics, this is when you would probably start considering having to run multiple computers in one. I think it's really great for family and friends to show how to use a process on taking over their screen and just giving them a walkthrough so they can follow along that way. Because sometimes it's just hard to explain it over the phone or even sometimes over video. So I'm going to go into TeamViewer right now. This is one, again, you will have to install the application to use it. I'll show you just quickly how you can go to install that. You just go into TeamViewer. You can see I've been doing some research. And let's see, it's just there, teamviewer.com, and it'll show you here where you can download it. and it's for free. Like I said, there's a paid version, but really all you need to do with the or the free version, everything is really right there to just take over a friend's screen or a colleague's. So I'll quickly show you how to do that right now. I'm going to attempt to go into Kara's computer here. She's my roommate, so let's see how that goes. I'm going to try and do that quickly. Now, once you download TeamViewer, and let me hide this over here. Once you download TeamViewer and set up an account, it automatically gives you these pieces here. It gives you your ID and this password. Those are the two things you need to share with whoever you're intending to take over your computer screen. So if, say, for example, I wanted my colleague Zach to take over my computer screen with TeamViewer, I would either text or email him my ID and my password. And these can be regenerated as you see here. But for example, I'm going to try and take over Kara's, so I'm going to put in her partner ID right now and hope that her password is still the same. And we'll kind of go ahead and see what she's working on. So, and then I say connect because I'm doing right now remote control. And then it's going to prompt me for that password. So I'm going to type that in now. And log on. And you can see it's connecting to Kara's MacBook Pro. And this is exactly what Kara's working on right now. Looks like I'm looking at maybe her desktop. I can see her little TeamViewer thing right here. But what's really nice is I can actually now access her computer as if I was the user currently of her computer. So for example, in her browser, I could go and say, you know, cute puppy pictures. And this is all happening on her computer. So this is the easiest way I would go through and show her, for example, how to download this picture. I would tell her, you know, you can right click this and save the image. So she's seeing all of this happen right now on her computer as I'm doing this right now. If I were to, you know, stop touching my mouse, for example, she would actually have control, and I can ask her, you know, move your mouse around or go over to whichever, and she'd be able to do that herself if she wanted to. So, for example, she can go ahead and click on any puppy picture she wants, whichever right now, but then, see, I'm not doing that, and I show I'm hands-free, but that's an easy way for me to say, oh no, you actually want to go to this one, and then I would be able to take that over. So TeamViewer, really great for doing those remote control access pieces, and it's really simple. These are the real main features. I'll actually exit Kara's MacBook. That's right up here in this top bar button. So this kind of whole window right here is the TeamViewer that I'm logged into right now. So the downside is right now I can't hear Kara and Kara can't hear me. She just sees my mouse on her computer screen. So you would want to be able to enable chat features or just give them a call on the phone and talk through them while you're doing this on your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and exit hers. And it's going to prompt me to go and buy the license. But it all lives right here in this very simple dashboard. So these are the main features we use TeamViewer for. Again, it does have like some of these other features, but you'd have to start looking into the paid account version. So that's just something to keep in mind. But a really great platform if you need to show other people how to take over a computer and how to use it. Alrighty, so that's TeamViewer. And I'm going to go back to the presentation to show now, let's see, what's our next one? Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts I love. I'm a big Google user. I've got a Google Pixel. So one of the things with Google users, I really think it's ideal for people already using Google platforms, whether it's Gmail or Calendar or Google Docs, other pieces like that. This is where this really comes into play and can be helpful. It's very easy to use on the phone, whether it's iPhone or Android based, it works on both, and you can use it on the computer. The best thing is it's web-based. So as you can see down in my dashboard here, I brought up all of the ones that we're currently using. Let me just close out of that. All of the ones that I'm trying to talk about here today. And you'll notice Google Hangouts isn't down here because it's all web-based. So it's great. You don't have to download an application for it. It also allows 150 participants in a chat, and it also allows 30 people if you're having a video chat. So really great if you're getting together with, say, all your sorority sisters from college for some reason and you want to have a video chat together to watch a movie. This is a great way to do that. It can be a little tricky to use Google Hangouts if you don't already have a Google account, like your @Gmail account. By setting up one of those, just an @Gmail, that makes it really easy to then go ahead and use a Google Hangouts account. So like I said, it's great for Google users looking to video call friends, but I think it's also text and video all rolled into one, so it's really great for that. Very easy to use interface for casual needs, and ideal for using on a mobile device for on the go. One of the other sort of side branches to Google Hangouts, part of the whole G Suite, is Google Meet. So this is something you might want to look into for more of your serious business needs if you are using a lot of Google applications in your already day-to-day business strategies and uses and stuff. So maybe Google Meet might be one of those to check out, which I've included a link in here. So let's go to Google Hangouts. Now, really quickly, I'll go to the Google Hangouts dashboard first, but I can also show you what it's like in my actual Gmail, because that's one of the things where that's what Google does, is it really kind of tries to seamlessly integrate a lot of things within its other platforms. So this is actually it. That's the Google Hangouts platform right now. It's just called hangouts.google.com. And here is where you would sign into your Google account, where you can video call, phone call, and message people that also have Google accounts. So, like I said, it's kind of a messaging and video platform all in one, which is really nice. It also does allow you to make kind of voice calls with, essentially just making a call without the video piece to other apps that have Hangouts and stuff. So I could go ahead and sign in. Let's see. And just show you really quickly this way, if I remember my password for it. Once you kind of are signed into Google, you forget your password, I feel, because you're just using it all the time. So now it shows me my dashboard. It's very simple here and straightforward. You can see I could give Kara a call right now, for example. I could start a video call and invite someone. Allow Hangouts to use your camera. Yep, I want to do that. I'm using this in incognito window right now. So this is where I would go to invite people. So for example, if I just wanted to start a Google Hangouts, this is one way to access and invite somebody. So I could start doing Kara Sullivan. I know she has a Google account, so I would do this and I'd invite her. It's another way too, you could just copy the link and share. So that's another way to invite someone, by just clicking this little link here. It copies it to your dashboard. You can see down here on the bottom. And then I could go ahead and hang up. And just to kind of, if you wanted to immediately start a conversation, so this is where I meant it's very more casual in terms of not a lot of the scheduling pieces, but you can just sort of start a conversation with someone. I could go ahead and just give her a call. It opens a chat feature here, and then this is what I would use to actually give her a video call right now. She doesn't have to pick up, but I'll just kind of show you what happens if I video call. So it's going to say I'm calling Kara and does this. I could turn my video on right here. It would show up with my video, but I'm going to go ahead and hang up. Same with the mute features are there. I just don't want to bother her because I think we're all working right now as much as we can. So I'll let her do that. So you can see that I missed a call from her. She's actually giving me a video. No, okay. I thought she was giving me a video call, but maybe I was wrong. All right. But again, I can also message people. I can find anybody from my contacts. Like I could message Zach, for example. Oops. So you can see here, this is where I meant it gets a little tricky with anybody that doesn't have a Google account. So Zach at neighborhoodsun.solar, it's recognizing that's not an @Gmail or a Google account, so it's going to try and invite him. But I think I do have, for example, if I go back to my little chat feature here, I could start a new conversation. I could try and chat with, let me see if I move this here. Z Perkins, I think. There's his Google account right there. maybe he doesn't actually have Hangouts right now, but I could always send him an invite. So that's how Google Hangout works. Like I said, it's a very easy to use, just clean dashboard to easily make phone calls as well. It's pulling a lot of my contacts that I already have in my phone because it can connect through my Google account where I store a lot of my actual contacts in my phone anyways. So that's really Google Hangouts. You can see this just opens up the dashboard more fully so you can see what you want to do here, whether it's your text conversations, your phone calls, inviting people, and then installing the app. So it's really helpful to have on your phone as well. So, all right. And if anybody has questions about Google Hangouts, you can also see it. I'll try to really quickly just show it maybe in my Gmail, but if I go up here, you can see also this is where the chats would occur right here and stuff. And I could also call people from, let's see, right here. You can see this is how I could also video call and Google Chat that way. All right. So going back to this one here. All right, I'm going to go back out of Google Hangouts and go back to the presentation. And let's see. So we went through Google Hangouts, and now we'll chat quickly about Skype, and then I think we can wrap it up after Skype. So the great features I think that are with Skype, although Skype was one of the probably original video conferencing platforms out there, and I know a lot of us probably used it in the earlier days, but one of the great things that still exists with Skype is it does let you make domestic and international phone calls, which I'll show you in the application once I open that in a minute. It's also been purchased by Microsoft, so when Microsoft acquired it, they really integrated it a lot more into their Office 365 suite, and anybody who already has a Microsoft account. So that's where Skype has kind of transitioned more so into a Microsoft encompassed, I guess, platform. I think it also has really good audio and video, but one of the things with Skype, I feel it can also freeze sometimes. So that's just, that can happen with any of the video platforms, but I feel I might have noticed it a little bit more with Skype sometimes. There is actually a difference between Skype and Skype for Business. Very similar to Google Hangouts and Google Meet. There's more of a business robust feature for screen sharing and file sharing and hosting sort of different business webinar meetings with Skype Business. It's really best, like I said, for making international phone calls at an affordable rate. So great for keeping in touch with friends and family. The Skype for Business operates a little differently, also owned by Microsoft, so really might be helpful if you have the Microsoft suite to look into Skype for Business there. Another thing to check out is Teams. So Teams is exceptionally similar to Skype for Business. If anything, they might have kind of synonymously become one in a way. So Teams is a very similar platform, just essentially the Google Hangouts or the Google Meet for Microsoft users. So something you might want to check out. I have a whole link here about what to do with Teams, how to use it. So that might be something if that's what your business is already using. So I'll just quickly go into Skype, show how Skype works. If you don't already have it, before I kind of go into this, you can go here to just skype.com. Oops. Let's see. All right, and I could download Skype right here, and it would then install the application on my desktop. And again, it's a free service, so Skype's really great. All of these are free features. They will have more robust paid plans if you'd like to go ahead and look into those, especially for business purposes. But once you do have that already installed, it's very similar to kind of Google Hangouts with just these call features. So one of the things with Skype to point out, it's really small up here, but if you can see it, it's where I have credit available. And credit is what I would be able to use to make those international phone calls if I wanted to. So let's see, if I wanted to make a new call, I could actually dial someone and give a phone call right here, and it'll tell you a little bit more about the call numbers at an affordable rate and where I would get the credit. So I could actually call people in all of these other countries, which is really phenomenal, especially if you have a lot of international friends or family overseas right now. This would be a really great way to just be able to give them a phone call and actually call their cell phone without them having to need Skype or having to need a video platform. So this is what I think Skype is most ideal for right now, is these international phone calls. So this is really great. It does, like I said, also have great video features. You can chat with people just as you can with a lot of others. So this is, for example, my mom. I could always message her. I could give her a video call right up here. And I could just kind of telephone call. That would be just a regular call to her Skype without the video feature incorporated in it. So this is where I would be able to send her a message. I could add emojis and all those other things too, which is just makes it really fun for family and friends. And you can share other things like pictures and stuff going on here. And yeah, so those are really what's good with Skype. We've got a few other features here, kind of just you can schedule a call, but I think it's really mostly ideal for chatting with family and friends, albeit you can use it for business, but you might want to look into the Skype for Business or Teams, especially if you're using a Microsoft account. So those are the major platforms. I think, let's see, I just want to wrap it up here and see if there were any questions from anyone who wanted to ask about any of the platforms I went through. I'd be happy to go back and show any questions you do have about Zoom or GoToMeeting, TeamViewer, Google Hangouts, or Skype. If you do have questions about any of the platforms I didn't get a chance to go over, I think it would be really great if you guys want to reach out. I'd be more than happy to try and look into it more. I'd be happy to use TeamViewer and show you how to use something, or we could schedule a call over Zoom. So we can make this work, and you can ask any other questions you have about other platforms that I didn't mention here. So in this PowerPoint, I just want to end. We've got a couple helpful links. You can look at really the comparisons of Zoom and GoToMeeting. You can look at the pros and cons of TeamViewer or Zoom versus Skype, and then Skype versus Skype for Business. Similar, we've got Google Hangouts versus Google Meet, and then the whole Teams platform by Microsoft. And I will be posting this whole PowerPoint presentation. After this, I'll do my best to attach it to the Facebook Live video that posts once I'm finished here, so I'll see if I can do that so everybody can have access to this. And then also there's just some YouTube how-tos of the major video communication platforms. So this channel right here, I think it's called How Infinity or Howfinity, something like that, where he just goes through a lot of these communication platform tools, so you can watch it as a YouTube video as well for some of the specifics like Zoom or GoToMeeting. So, and then just to wrap it up here, we are working on doing these digital live tutorials sort of through Facebook Live for you folks. We want to try and do these every Friday if we can, just to show community members out there the different things that they can do during this difficult time, and ways that we can interact with one another. I know, for example, Crystal's going to be hopefully hosting a book club later on, and actually next Friday, my colleague Zach, who you got to see briefly when I messaged or video called him on Zoom, he's going to be doing lessons on digital board games with friends. So it's a really good way if you're into board games and you love doing that stuff. I know I do. So you can do this with friends while we're social distancing and while we're all staying safe and healthy. So that'll be a good one. Also, probably around the same time on Fridays, just a way to start your weekend. And yeah, we're really excited to kick these off. So feel free to let us know how this went and post any comments you want on this. Please give us suggestions for any additional tutorials we can do. I know some of our other colleagues are looking into doing tutorials for gardening or for cooking, or maybe it's going to be sing-alongs. Who knows? I don't know. I know Gary loves doing that sort of stuff, so we'll see. But keep checking our Facebook page for these sort of details. And we'll also be doing a lot of other sort of online events to reach our community members as best we can, to help everybody out there through this troubling time. And as always, you can look into community solar. It is what we do here at Neighborhood Sun primarily, so you can check that out, see what solar options are available for you right now at this time, and also it'll help save some money on your electricity bill, which I know we're all kind of curious how we're going to be weathering this time. And this is one of those ways you could do that, is by looking into lowering bills where we can, and community solar can definitely help doing that, all while getting clean energy. So feel free to check that out. I'm sure you already know a lot about us if you're on our Facebook page as it is. So yeah, that's really it. I wanted to go back here and I'll stop sharing my screen. So let's see, I want to do that. So thanks everybody. This was really great. I hope you enjoyed this, and we look forward to seeing you on more of our Facebook Live events. So enjoy your weekend and happy Friday. Stay healthy and stay inside.